Well, it's interesting because Reed and I really started the whole kind of journey into bigger national politics together. We both sat down and had lunch with Biden and wrote big checks a little over a year ago, December of 23. And then, won't bother you, but I had my red pill moment and I went a very different direction, which started off just questioning the Democrats.
Hold on. Can you actually just double click into that? What was your red pill moment? Was there one specific thing or was it more of a trickle of things?
It was both, right? It's like the wall starts crumbling and then it comes down all at once. So for me, it really started early in 23. I started reading Pirate Wires and Mike Solana, and I thought he was a little crazy at first because he would write these articles. One he wrote was about how the Ukrainian soldiers had swastikas on their helmets, and the New York Times photographers would ask them to take the swastikas off for photos. And I said, that can't be right. That can't be true. And then 4 months later, it was in the New York Times, buried in the middle of the paper. And I kept seeing stories like that he would be early on. And so I just started feeling uncomfortable and queasy about what was going on with mainstream media. And then in May of last year of 24, I read some article that talked about Trump's speech in Charlottesville, and this has been well covered, but where he said there was good people on both sides. And the article said it was completely, propaganda and not accurately reflecting what he said, that he denounced the Nazis a bunch of times in his speech. And so then I went and watched that video, and that was my red pill moment. I think it was for a lot of people, because it wasn't just the media spinning it or politicians spinning it. That was like one of the pillars of why you were supposed to hate Trump was that speech. And then you see Biden say that's why he had to run a second time. And you see Obama you even see Biden bring it up again in the beginning of the DNC. And it's one of their pillars, and they clearly know that they're misrepresenting things. So for me, that was beyond uncomfortable. I was just like, okay, now I got to go back to first principles and look at the primary data and listen only to original speeches by people. And I just realized I couldn't trust mainstream media. So I started questioning the Democrats. As soon as I started questioning the Democrats, I started getting a lot of shame and anger and hatred. Oh, the other thing that happened that was part of this journey is that my chief of staff parted ways with me after 9 years in April of last year. And he was the main person protecting me from myself on Twitter. And he was the one who would say, stay in your lane. Nobody wants to hear what you think about politics or San Francisco or anything other than, your area of products and investing. And with him gone, I just started tweeting whatever I felt and thought. And sometimes I got it wrong or it was a little too emotional. But first of all, it was really fun. And then second of all, I found I got connected to this whole new audience of people who are these kind of techno optimists. I think you guys probably talked about it. And that just brought me down this path that eventually I came out 2 days before the election publicly for Trump. And it was only because that's when I completely got there. And I was trying to just be completely honest and authentic with myself and on Twitter at the same time. And my daughters turned to me that Sunday and they said, you're going to vote for Trump. We know it. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. And they said, well, then you have to go say it on Twitter. And my daughters were like really in this with me. Yeah. So anyway, and then it was on the front page of the New York Post on the day of the election that I was not that I'm such news, but maybe it just was their news peg that I was coming out for Trump. But I'll get back to your Reed question. But what I love about my New York Times, about my New York friends is that they did not give a f. They were all pro Kamala and they texted me and they're just like, oh, that's kind of funny. But it's one thing I kind of love about New York. They didn't care.